Cakes and Ale by Edward Spencer. Chapter 8. Dinner, continued. The strong table groans. Beneath the smoking sirloin stretched immense. A Merry Christmas bin fa _no l_. Banquet water how royalty fares the. Tsar _bia base _tornadoes bisque vent pre. Sale Chinese banquets a fixed bayonet Bernardine. Salmi the duck squeezer American cookery, Borston. Beans he couldn't eat beef. A Christmas dinner in the early Victorian era. Quelle fate. Magnifique. The man who did not keep Christmas in a fitting manner. In those days was not thought much of. Dines by himself at the club. On Christmas Day, was the way the late Mr. George Payne of Sporting memory summed up a certain middle-aged recluse, with heaps of money, who, although he had 2 estates in the country, preferred to live in 2 small rooms in St. James's Place, SW, and to take his meals at Arthur's. And how we boys, not to mention the little lasses in white frocks and black mittens, used to overeat ourselves, on such occasions with no fear of pill, draught, or staying in, before our eyes. The writer has in his mind's eye a good specimen of such an old-fashioned dinner, as served in the 50s. It was pretty much the same feast every Christmas. We commenced with some sort of clear soup, with meat in it. Then came a codfish, crimped the head of that household would have as soon thought of eating a_sole au vin blanc_, as of putting before his family an uncrimped cod with plenty of liver, oyster sauce, and pickled walnuts, and at the other end of the table was a dish of fried smelts. _autres. Had any of the diners asked for an _autre_, his or her _exit_ from the room would have been a somewhat rapid one. A noble sirloin of Scotch beef faced a boiled turkey anointed with celery sauce, and then appeared the blazing pudding, and the mince pies. For the next course, a dish of toasted, or rather stewed cheese, homemade and full of richness, was handed round with dry toast, the bearer of which was closely pursued by a varlet carrying a huge double-handed vessel of hot spiced ale bobbing or floating about, in the which were roasted crab-apples and sippets of toast, and it was de rigueur for each of those who sat at meat to extract a sippet, to eat with the cheese. How the old retainer, grey and plethoric with service, loved us boys. And how he would maneuver to obtain for us the titbits. A favoured servitor was Joseph, and though my revered progenitor was ostensibly the head of the house, he would, on occasion, run a bad second to Joseph. Memory is still keen of a certain chilly evening in September, when the ladies had retired to the drawing-room, and the male guests were invited to be seated at the small table which had been wheeled close to the replenished fire. "Joseph," said the dear old man, "bring us a bottle or 2 of the yellow seal _u_no bin f." The servitor drew near to his master, and in a stage whisper exclaimed, "You can't afford it, sir." "What's that?" roared the indignant old man. "You can't afford it, Sir Hawthornden's 1th ledger." "Good gad." A pause, and then, "Well, never mind, Joseph, we'll have up the yellow seal, all the same." One of the writer's last Christmas dinners was partaken of in a sweet little house in Mayfair, and affords somewhat of a contrast with the meal quoted above. We took our appetites away with a salad composed of anchovies, capers, truffles, and other things, a Russian sardine or 2, and rolls and butter. Thence, we drifted into _bouillabaisse_. A tasty but bile-provoking broth, toyed with some _fillets de sole. A la Parisienne_, good but greasy, and disposed of _tornadoes _, with a nice fat oyster atop a piece, _et parlez-moi dca, _. Then came some dicky birds _sir canopy _alleged to be snipe, but destitute of flavor, save that of the tin they had been spoiled in, and of the canopy. An alien cook can not cook game, whatever choice confections he may turn out, at least that is the experience of the writer. We had _cressons of course with the birds, though how watercress can possibly assimilate with the flesh of a snipe is questionable. Watercresses are all very well at tea in the arbor, but don't go smoothly with any sort of fowl, and to put such rank stuff into a salad as my hostess's cook did is absolutely criminal. To continue the Mayfair banquet, the salad was followed by a soufflé à la Noël which reminded some of the more imaginative of our party of the festive season, some cheese straws, and the customary ices, coffee, and liqueurs. On the whole, not a bad meal, but what would old Father Christmas have said thereto? What would my revered progenitor have remarked, had he been allowed to revisit the glimpses of the moon? He did not love our lively neighbors, and upon the only occasion on which he was inveigled across the channel, took a special care to recross it the very next day, lest, through circumstances not under his own control, he might come to be buried amongst these French. The following menu may give some idea as to how royalty entertains its guests. Said menu as will be seen, is comparatively simple, and many of the dishes are French only in name. Huîtres. Consommé aux oeufs poches. Bisque d'écrevisses. Turbot, sauce de homard. Filets de saumon à l'indienne. Vol au vent financière. Mauviettes sur le nid. Selle de mouton de Gauls rôti. Poulards à l'estragon. Faisans. Bécassines sur croûte. Choux-fleurs au gratin. Plum pudding. Bavarois aux abricots. Glacé à la mocha. Truly a pattern dinner this, and 'twould be sheer impertinence to comment thereon, beyond remarking that English dishes should, in common fairness, be called by English names. Her Imperial Majesty the Tsaritsa, on the night of her arrival at Darmstadt, in October 1896, sat down, together with her august husband, to the following simple meal. Consommé de volaille crustades d'écrevisses. Filet de turbot à la Joinville. Cimier de chèvreauil. A haunch of roebuck is far to be desired above the same quarter of the red deer. Tranche de perdreau. Ponche royale. Poulard de Metz. Choux de Bruxelles. Bavarois aux abricots. Glacés panaches. The partiality of crowned heads towards Bavarois auxiliary. Abricots, Bavarois is simply Bavarian cheese, a superior sort of _blanc mange is proverbial, and the above repast was served on priceless Meissen china and silver. The only remarks I will make upon the above menu are that it is quite possible that the capon may have come from Metz, though not very probable. French cook's name there. Meat and poultry in the most reckless fashion. For instance, owing to this reckless nomenclature, the belief has grown that the best ducks come from Rouen. Nothing of the sort. There are just as good ducks raised at West Hartlepool as at Rouen. Rouen in the bill of fare is simply a corruption of Rhone, and a Rhone duck is a quacker who has assumed, through crossing, the reddish plumage of the wild bird. As for alleged Surrey fowls, most of them come from Heathfield in Sussex, whence £142,000 worth were sent in 1896. Let us inquire into the composition of some of the high-sounding plats served up by the average chef bouillabaisse of it Thackeray sang. This bouillabaisse a noble dish is, a sort of soup, or broth, or brew, or hotchpotch of all sorts of fishes, that Greenwich never could outdo. Green herbs, red peppers, mussels, saffron, soles, onions, garlic, roach and dace. All these you eat at Terrier's Tavern, in that one dish of bouillabaisse. Avoid eels and herrings in this concoction as too oily. Soles, mullet, John Dory, whiting, flounders, perch, roach, and mussels will blend well, and allow half a pound of fish for each person. 4. Every pound of fish put in the stewpan a pint of water, a quarter of a pint of white wine, and a tablespoonful of salad oil. If there be. For partakers, add 2 sliced onions, 2 cloves, 2 bay leaves, 2 leeks, the white part only chopped, for cloves of garlic, a tablespoonful chopped parsley, a good squeeze of lemon juice, half an ounce of chopped capsicums, a teaspoonful, or more ad lib of saffron, with pepper and salt. Mix the chopped fish in all this, and boil for half an hour. Let the mixture gallop, and strain into a tureen with sippets, and the fish served separately. Tornadoes. No relation to tornado, and you won't find the word in any Gallic dictionary. Tornadoes is a thin collop of beef, steeped in marinade for 24 hours. Personally, I prefer it without the aid of the marine, and fried lightly. Turn it but once the oyster atop is simply scalded. Try this dish. Bisque. In the 17th century this was made from pigeons by the poor barbarians who knew not the gentle lobster, nor the confiding crayfish. Heat up to boiling point a mirepoix of white wine. You don't know what a mirepoix is? Simply a faggot of vegetables, named after a notorious cuckold of noble birth in the time of Louis XV. 2 carrots, 2 onions, 2 shallots, 2 bay leaves, a sprig of thyme and a clove of garlic. Mince very small, with half a pound of fat bacon, half a pound of raw ham, pepper and salt, and a little butter. Add a sufficiency of white wine. In this mixture cook 2 dozen crayfish for 20 minutes, continually tossing them about till red, when take them out to cool. Shell them, all but the claws, which should be pounded in a mortar and mixed with butter. The flesh of the tails is reserved to be put in the soup at the last minute. The body flesh goes back into the mirepoix to which 2 quarts of broth are now added. Add the pounded shells to the soup, simmer for an hour and a half, strain, heat up, add a piece of butter, the tails, a seasoning of cayenne, and a few quenelles of whiting. Underscore volovent financière. Underscore, this always reminds me of the fearful threat hurled by the waiter in the Bab Ballads at his flighty sweetheart. Flirtez toujours, ma belle, si tu oses. Je me vengerai ainsi, ma chère. Je lui dirai de quoi on compose. Volovent à la financière. Make your crust light as air, and flaky as snow, and you value your situation and fill with button mushrooms, truffles, coxcombs, underscore quenelles underscore of chicken, and sweetbread, all chopped, seasoned, and moistened with a butter sauce. Brown gravy is objectionable. Garnish the underscore vol underscore with fried parsley, which goes well with most luxuries of this sort. There are some words which occur frequently in French cookery which, to the ordinary perfidious Briton, are cruelly misleading. For years, I was under the impression that underscore brillet savarin underscore was a species of filleted fish, brill in a rich gravy, instead of a French magistrate who treated gastronomy poetically, and always ate his food too fast. And only within the last decade have I discovered what a underscore pre-sale underscore really means. Literally, it is salt meadow or marsh. It is said that sheep fed on a salt marsh make excellent mutton, but is it not about time for Britannia, the alleged pride of the ocean, and ruler of its billows, to put her foot down and protest against a leg of prime down, but recently landed from the antipodes being described on the card as a underscore gigot de pre-sale underscore? The meals, like the ways, of the heathen chinny are peculiar. Some of his food, to quote poor Corny Grain, is absolutely beastly. Underscore Li Hung Chong underscore was welcomed to Carlton House Terrace, London, with a dinner in 12 courses, the following being the principal items: roast duck, roast pork and raspberry jam, followed by dressed cucumber. Shrimps were devoured, armor and all, with leeks, gherkins and mushrooms. A couple of young chickens preserved in wine and vinegar, with green peas, a underscore puree underscore of pigeon's legs, followed by an assortment of sour jellies. The banquet concluded with sponge cakes and tea. In his own land the underscore Chinaman's evening repast underscore is much more variegated than the above. It is almost as long as a Chinese drama, and includes melon seeds, bitter almonds, bamboo sprouts, jellyfish, cucumber, roast duck, chicken stewed in spirit, dregs, 4 peas, prawns, sausages, scallions, fish brawn, pork chops, plum blossoms, oranges, bird's nest soup, pigeon's eggs. In bean curd, the eggs being postponed, one's fungus, shrimps, macerated fish fins, ham in flour, ham in honey, turnip cakes, roast sucking pig, fish maws, roast mutton, wild duck's feet, water chestnuts, egg rolls, lily seeds, stewed mushrooms, dressed crab with jam, chrysanthemum pasties, underscore bêche de mer underscore, and pig's feet in honey. Can it be wondered at that this nation should have been brought to its knees by gallant little Japan? Underscore the Englishman in China underscore has not a particularly good time of it, in the gastronomic way. And forces in Hong Kong are largely dependent on Shanghai for supplies. There is plenty pig all over the land, but the dairy-fed pork of Old England is preferable. And the way this little pig goes to market savors so strongly of the most refined cruelty that a branch of the RSPCA would have the busiest of times of it over yonder. Reverting to French cookery, here is an appetizing dish, called a Underscore Bernardine Salmi underscore. It should be prepared in the dining room, before the eyes of the guests, and Grimod de la Reynière, to whom the recipe was given by the prior of an abbey of Bernardine monks, recommends that the underscore Salmi underscore should be conveyed to the mouth with a fork, for fear of devouring one's fingers, should they touch the sauce. Take 3 woodcocks, underdone, and cut them into neat portions. On a silver dish bruise the livers and trails. Squeeze over them the juice of 4 lemons, and grate over them a little of the thin rind. Add the portions of woodcock, seasoned with salt, and according to the prior mixed spices, and 2 teaspoonfuls of French mustard, but the writer would substitute cayenne underscore sul underscore, over all half a wineglass of sherry, and then put the dish over a spirit lamp. When the mixture is underscore nearly underscore boiling, add a tablespoonful of salad oil. Blow out the light, and stir well. Underscore 4 underscore lemons are mentioned in this recipe, as at the time it was written lemons were very small when cocks were in. Underscore 2 underscore imported lemons, or limes, will amply suffice nowadays. Underscore a salmi of wild duck underscore can be made almost in the same way, but here the aid of that modern instrument, the underscore duck squeezer underscore, is necessary. Cut the best of the meat in slices, off a lightly roasted wild duck. After brought to table, break up the carcass and place in a species of mill silver, called a duck squeezer, which possesses a spout through which the richness of the animal escapes, after being squeezed. Make a gravy of this liquor in a silver dish, with a spirit lamp beneath, added to a small pat of butter, the juice of a lemon, a tablespoonful of Worcester sauce, with cayenne and salt to taste, and half a wineglassful of port wine. Warm the meat through in this gravy, which must not boil. Of course these 2 last-named dishes are only intended for bachelor parties. Lovely woman must not be kept waiting for duck squeezers, or anything else. Underscore the Jesuits underscore introduced the turkey into Europe, of which feat the Jesuits need not boast too much, for to some minds there be many better edible birds, and the gobbler requires, when roasted or boiled, plenty of seasoning to make him palatable. The French stuff him in his roasted state with truffles, fat forcemeat, or chestnuts, and invariably bard the bird. Bard is Old English as well as Old French with fat bacon. The French turkey is also frequently braised, with an abundant underscore mirepoix underscore made with what their cooks call Madeira but which is really marsala. It is only we English who boil the gobbler and stuff him or her, for it is the hen who usually goes into the pot, with oysters, or forcemeat, with celery sauce. Probably the best parts of the turkey are his legs, when grilled for breakfast, and smothered with the sauce mentioned in one of the chapters on breakfast, and underscore pulled turkey underscore makes an agreeable luncheon dish, or underscore entree underscore at dinner, the breast meat being pulled off the bone with a fork, and fricasseed, surrounded in the dish by the grilled thighs and pinions. Who introduced the turkey into America deponent saith not, probably, like Topsy it growed there. Anyhow the bird is so familiar a table companion in the States, that Americans, when on tour in Europe, fight very shy of him. Tucky saw, cranberry sarse, used to be the stereotyped reply of the black waiter when interrogated on the subject of the bill of fare. Underscore colored help underscore is, however, gradually being ousted, together with sulfur matches. From the big hotels in New York, where white waiting and white food are coming into, or have come into, regular use. In fact, with the occasional addition of one or other of such special dishes as terrapin, soft shell crab, clam chowder, and the everlasting pork and beans, a dinner in New York differs very little at the time of writing. 1897, from one in London. The taste for _clam chowder_ is an acquired one, nor will stewed tortoise ever rank with thick turtle in British estimation, although 'tis not the same tortoise which is used in London households to break the coals with. A _canvasback duck _, if eaten in the land of his birth, is decidedly the most delicately flavored of all the quack family. His favorite food is said to be wild celery, and his favored haunts the neighborhood of Chesapeake Bay, from whose waters comes the much prized diamondback terrapin, which is sold at the rate of $50 or $60 the dozen. The canvasback duck, however, suffers in transportation. In fact, the tendency of the ice house aboard ship is to rob all food of its flavor. But however good be the living in New York City where the hotels are the best in the world, and whose Mr. Delmonico can give points to all sorts and conditions of food caterers, it is a bit rough in the provinces. There is a story told of a young actor on tour who struck a small town out west and put up at a small inn. In the course of time, dinner was served, and the landlord waited at table. The principal cover was removed, disclosing a fine joint of coarsish, indifferently cooked beef. Our young actor was strangely moved at the sight. "What?" he cried. "Beef again? This is horrible. I've seen no other food for months, and I'm sick and tired of it. I can't eat beef." Whereupon his host whipped out a huge 6-shooter revolver, and, covering the recalcitrant beef eater, coolly remarked, "Guess you kin." But I don't believe that story, any more than I believe the anecdote of the cowboys and the daylight let through the visitor who couldn't eat beans.